with our title start of our great trip to Great Britain. We leave here on the 5th of September at Lambert Field, going to Northwest Airlines to Detroit, and then from Detroit by DC-10 to London Gatwick Airport, arriving at Gatwick Airport on the 6th of September. And with this, we continue on with our Great Britain trip. Windsor Castle.
Yeah.
Notice we don't have a unicorn here. We've never got a unicorn. It's a Welsh origin. Dragon is the emblem of Wales. That is the pomegranate.
What? That's where the fire was, Daddy. You see
This is the dry moat here.
Yeah.
And there's where the fire was, right up there. Fire at Windsor Castle. This is the dry moat.
Don't go too heavy on the old oil bit as well. You know, you see these films, there's gallons of oil going over the wall, gallons of lead. Lead was very expensive. And if you believe the films, half the cars in England and Europe are covered in lead. They're not. Lead, you pour anything. Quicklime is a good thing as well.
And that's all part of the inside of Windsor Castle.
Based on that, it's not Buckingham Palace, okay? It's the design of Edward Lutyens, who's going to be sort of the Christopher Wren in about another 300 years. You know, he's designed in England, he's designed in India. There's the fellow up there, the merry monarch.
This is the guard. Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle Red Coat Guard. This is St. George's Chapel. There's Big Mama. St. Mary's Chapel. Okay. The Royal Grenadier, Windsor Castle. This is the area he's guarding.
Wow. Good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Got much holiday left?
Just start. We hadn't been to
Just
bed
starting.
since Tuesday.
Haven't been to bed since Tuesday, early this morning.
That's St. Louis.
Hey, the hurricane's after you.
Oh, St. Louis, Missouri. We're all right.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
So I just called Louis, isn't it?
The town of Windsor. Just outside of Windsor Castle. The outside of the castle. Statues of Queen Victoria everywhere.
That's all right. We don't mind having you in our picture.
So you've got to twist back over your left shoulder, everyone in fact. Look back over your left shoulder, and in a moment, just past this copper-coloured tree, you'll see a red brick building with square white windows and a greenish roof. Back over your shoulder now. There it is. That's the building up there. The green roof, the gilded gates, the square white windows. That's where Diana lives. It takes about 15 minutes. It's taken us 19 minutes just to get up here in the traffic. Of course, the bus is going to stop every now and then to pick up more passengers on visitors to the palace. That's the ambassador's entrance as well. Now, over to the left-hand side, you'll see a lot of traffic there in front of the palace. Now, the guard change goes on in the forecourt, and which happens every 2 hours, is that 2 men step down, and then they have 4 hours on. 2 hours on, 4 hours off during the hours of daylight. The only time when they have the parade with the marching band is at 11.
Here we are at Westminster Abbey. This is the House of Parliament in London, England. Big Ben, 10 o'clock on September 7th.
Small.
In London.
The Major works best at Christmas time. Over your right shoulder here, under the tree, behind the white trucks, there's a statue either. Don't worry, there are 2 of them. If you miss the first one, have a look further on the left. There's another one. There's one on the left-hand side, another one on the left there. Now, they have to stand there for 1 hour, the horses. Then they're replaced by other horses and other soldiers. And this lot go off and have their tea. What do they have? Now, when they're doing real soldiering, well, not the trade gallery. Look down beyond Nelson's Column to the right. You'll see in a moment Big Ben comes. You'll get a glimpse of Big Ben just before Nelson's Column and also just after it. Down to the right there. Some people call that Nelson's Watch. There's a small statue of George Washington here on the left. The white plinth and the black figure on top is George Washington. Now, that was put here in 1921 by the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia. But George Washington said, I never want to set foot on English soil ever again. So they paid for American soil to be brought here and put underneath the plinth. Now, do you remember Mary Poppins? Yeah? Down to the right here, look, the singer. I used to be a singer and then I broke my leg. They cost 25p if you purchase from the black and white umbrella, or black and yellow umbrella, if you want to feed the birds, but they'll probably give you a fourpenny one if you do. They have to hose down Trafalgar Square every month. The winged figure on the right is a memorial to a man called the Earl of Shaftesbury. The temperature outside is 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. The Earl of Shaftesbury also gives his name to this street up to the left-hand side. Shaftesbury. All of this Buddy Holly from Lubbock, Texas. From Pinner, Middlesex, the figure in the military gear. His real name is Reg Dwight. Reginald Dwight from Pinner in Middlesex changed his name, having been a student of the Royal Academy of Music. He called himself Elton John. Further figures from rock and roll, because at the base of the building on the left-hand side, the Rock Circus is a museum of rock and roll. Look at the...
Here comes the horses and the King's Guard coming down the street. London, England. Okay, this is a picture of St. James Palace. This is where Prince Charles is staying. We are at Buckingham Palace. To the left, where Prince Charles said.
If you want to, you don't have
This is a shot, random shot, St. James Park, located just on the left side of Buckingham Palace in London.
There's crocus.
Yeah. Looking down the street. Okay, this is the Tower Bridge, or London Bridge. And this, right here, is the Tower of London. Right there.
Sport off is number 1 America Square. So called because that is where all the old warehouses were in the old colonial days over 200 years ago, all the products from North America. That building is built right on the site of where William Penn was born. That's where William Penn was born, right there. Then to the left of it, look at that splendid building with the statues and the carving. You think, my word, what a splendid building, what's in there? A last Christmas.
Here we are, is a picture of the original Tower of London, located inside the fortress.
Right to your left here.
The scaffolding area. I thought they did that inside the tower. Where? What's that?
On this side,
This is the entrance to the Crown Jewels. They're stored here all the way. This is a special request of Big Mama. She wants a picture of a beefeater. This is your true beefeater at the Tower of London. this is in the Tower of London, right? Front of the Jewel Room, right?
Yes.
Okay. There's Grenadier Guard.
Good.
Okay, this is the London Bridge over the Thames River, taken by nightfall. We're heading down to Bonita. Oops, excuse me. This is the river cruise boat that we're just about to get on board. And it's 8:30 at night. All that lit up over there is the Tower of London.
Oh, what's lit up?
Yeah. That's the Tower of London. At night. This is a British warship sitting on the River Thames. Here's
We're going up against the tide.
Bridge.
But you can see from the discoloration of the walls on either side how high the tide rises. The next ship on the right is another former naval vessel, the Wellington,
This is just a view.
commissioned in the 1930s and then attached to a Royal Naval Squadron stationed in New Zealand. After the last World War, the Wellington was to have been broken up. But fortunately, she was acquired by one of the city's livery companies. The livery companies are associations of city businessmen which maintain. That is one of our principal concert halls, for immediately to the left there are two smaller concert halls, and behind them where you see the coloured lights, an art gallery for temporary art exhibitions. Beneath the bridge that we have just passed, there is also a National Film Theatre and a Museum of the Moving Image, illustrating the history of cinema and television. Those buildings occupy an area which used to be more for an exhibition, which was the central feature of the 1951 Festival of Britain. Over to the right, there's another office block built on top of another railroad station. The bridge ahead of us is Charing. Well, we were just in time to hear Big Ben striking 9 o'clock. Of course, most people think of that clock tower as Big Ben, but strictly speaking, Big Ben is the name of the bell that you heard striking. They say that the bell, they say, got its name from the Minister of Works at the time of the tower's construction. His first name was Benjamin, and he was from pineapples on top of the pylons at each corner of that bridge, now behind us, Lambeth Bridge.
Looking at it from the Thames River.
The buildings that lie in darkness to the right form St. Thomas's Hospital, one of London's teaching hospitals with which the nurse Florence Nightingale was closely associated. She established a training school for nurses within St. Thomas's. The training school is still there, and nurses who qualify there are known as Nightingales. Looking towards the Houses of Parliament again, the two stumpy towers that form the far corner of the building to the right of the clock tower contain the official residence of the Speaker of the House of Commons. It used to be called Mr. Speaker's House, but now it's Madam Speaker's House, because a woman has now been elected to the office of Speaker of the Commons. The bridge ahead of us is Westminster Bridge, built in the 19th century. replacing an earlier bridge from which the poet William Wordsworth wrote a famous poem, Ode on a View from Westminster Bridge, beginning rather remarkably, you may think, with the line, "Earth hath not anything to show more fair." View was rather more beautiful, I suppose, then, because Whitehall Palace was still standing on the left-hand side, following the curve of the river a little further on. The Royal Air Force who gave their lives in the 2 World Wars. The next building on the left, partly hidden behind the trees, is Whitehall Court, an apartment block built in the 1880s in the style of one of the great Renaissance castles of the Loire in France. The tower block, directly to the right, is the Shell Centre, containing the headquarters of the British division of the Shell Corporation. The building ahead of us on the left with the large clock also belongs to Shell. That is Shellmake's house. In front of Shellmake's house, you can just make out the shape of an ancient Egyptian obelisk, first erected in ancient Egypt in about 1600 BC. It was one of a pair, and the other obelisk, the twin to the one here, is in Central Park, New York. The next building on the left, so prettily illuminated in purple and gold, is the Savoy Hotel. The ship moored there on the left is the Queen Mary, a pleasure steamer launched on the River Clyde in Scotland in the 1930s. At that time, the Cunard Line was building a new liner, which they wanted to call the Queen Victoria. And it seems that the chairman of the line went to King George V to seek his permission to name the new ship after England's greatest queen. George V, who had a strong sense of humor, said, "Yes, certainly, my wife will be delighted." So they had to call the new ship the Queen Mary, and the owners of this one agreed to rename theirs the Queen Mary II. But now that the Queen Mary itself is no longer on seagoing service, that has been renamed and is now the Queen Mary that you see over to the left, the largest ship ever to have been brought this far up the River Thames. Was asked one day to make a special cake for a wedding, and he decided to model his cake on the design of that spire. And that is supposed to be how the traditional form of wedding cakes first came to be adopted. More or less directly ahead, the tall tower block with the 3 red aircraft warning lights is the headquarters of the National Westminster Bank, one of our main high street banks, catering for the coming into the river nowadays, is loaded and unloaded much further downriver at the port of Tilbury, where there's deeper water and more modern equipment. And the old docks have been lying empty and unused. But now the area around them is being redeveloped. 8 square miles are being largely rebuilt, and a whole new city is taking shape beside this river, which is therefore still a focus of the future, as it was more than 1900 years ago when the Romans came to its shores to establish London's beginnings. Away to the left, you can now see Sir Christopher Wren's great monument, the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral. The construction of that dome gave the architect a great deal of anxiety, because it had to be strong enough to support the great weight of the large lantern placed on top of it. Very unusual to see a lantern that large on top of a dome. If Wren had been content to put a wooden lantern there, there'd have been no great problem, but because it was to be so conspicuous, it had to be of stone. And it was not until work had actually begun on the construction of the dome that Wren hit upon a solution to the problem of supporting the lantern. He was building 2 domes, which was quite common practice, an inner dome and an outer dome, but between the 2, he decided to build a concealed cone of brick. And it is that hidden brickwork cone fell upon it later. The next building on the right is a former power station, Bankside Power Station, closed down many years ago. They now plan to transform it into an art gallery to hold part of the collection held by the Tate Gallery, a little further upriver, just upriver from the Houses of Parliament. The Tate is our principal art gallery for modern and contemporary art, but it also contains an extensive review of English art of all periods. It is claimed to be the tallest freestanding stone column in the world, 202 feet high. The height of the column is supposed to correspond to the distance from its base to the point at which the fire was thought to have begun, in a baker's shop in a nearby street called Pudding Lane. The building behind scaffolding on the left is the Fishmongers' Hall. And that's one of the grandest of the livery halls still standing in the City of London. The Fishmongers' Company is one of the more important of the livery companies, and one of the few to have retained certain administrative responsibilities, including administration of the Thomas Doggett Coat and Badge Race, which is one of several very colourful traditions still associated with this river. The race was founded in 1715 by an Irish actor called Thomas Doggett to celebrate the accession to the throne of the first of the German Hanoverian kings to rule over this country, King George I. His accession put an end to the hopes of the Stuarts to continue reigning. The Stuarts had come to be regarded as enemies. When Tower Bridge was built, they started raising the bridge when a double-decker bus was still on it. The driver had the presence of mind to accelerate and managed to get across the widening gap just in time. Into apartments. And it was the highly successful redevelopment of St. Catherine's Dock in the 1970s that led to the much more extensive redevelopment now being carried out further downriver around the other much larger docks.
Bit of luck tonight, Tony. The bridge is going to be raised right at this moment.
How splendid. Thank you, George.
There we go, folks.
The Tower Bridge is raising up.
No, the ships, vessels have power.
Oh, that's why they're doing it.
This is one of the highways.
Yeah. Bet you
What was happening, you build a bridge across the river that has been used as a waterway, then the water that the vessels have
1,000 of them, and then they were all taken out of use, but now some have been restored, like this one. And it is usually for a Thames sailing barge that the bridge is lifted nowadays. Sometimes liners come up here and moor alongside the Belfast, but more often than not the bridge is raised to admit the passage of one of those barges. When the bridge was...
Okay, this is the first shot of Leeds Castle. And the castle grounds. And the lake in front of it. Leeds Castle. And here we have the black swans.
unfortunately, and
Swans and hounds next to Leeds Castle. The moat around Leeds Castle and the sheep in the field. And this is the entrance to Leeds Castle. Right here. Yeah. This is a shot of the barn for the castle, Leeds Castle barn, converted to a restaurant.
This is the Culpeper English Garden at Leeds Castle.
Yes, in the Culpeper Garden.
And this is that stuff we use in our arrangements all the time.
Yep. Yes, indeedy. Variegated holly. Too close to the variegated holly. There's the apple tree, old apple trees. Okay.
Here's my down this way, is it? What? Where's the castle down this way? Castle. You hadn't been in the castle yet?
Get down and then back to your right.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never seen them before.
Okay, and here's that Autumn Joy. Pink and white mixed. Boxwood Franklin. And back to the sunflowers again for Susie.
They're not sunflowers.
That's oregano.
Well, it kind of smells like it.
Sure. Dry it up. Let it turn black, and it's a spicy oregano. Probably the whole thing is for context and pictures and all. But why should I, take pictures of what I want to?
Hang on, Val.
Them are the prettiest petunias you've ever seen. Lots of petunias. All colors of petunias. Love them petunias.
Oh, no.
All right. And here we are entering the area where all the birds are. This place is for the birds. All these bird cages, full of birds, making weird noises all over the place. Here's a couple of crowned cranes. Big Mama thinks this is a good picture. Yeah, this is a hoopie. It's a hoopie bird. Hello, hoopie bird.
From
Hello,
Europe,
hoopie.
Asia, Africa, India, and China.
Yeah, he's a hoopie. Hoopie, hoopie, hoopie.
He looks like a woodpecker.
Yeah. Hoopie looking deficit. Bunch bunch of little apples there. Ah, yes, the green wingtips macaw. This is a lilac-crowned Amazon. Like a parrot to me. Yeah. Yellowberry, Queen of Bavaria, or Golden Conure.
Best just for you.
And here's the moat and the backside of Leeds Castle as we're leaving here today and continuing on our tour. Backside of Leeds as we depart down the road. Entering into Canterbury Cathedral. First shot. Going in. There we go, shooting the outside of the cathedral. Catching the first fire on the wall. Catching the twin fires. And the entrance right there. Now here we are standing in Hastings, England, on the coast of the English Channel. The bluffs of the channel. You can see the red flag is flying. It goes as you can see, far out there on the hill. Houses all along the bluff. Bluffs run.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we just cut. On the beach at Hastings, where William the Conqueror had his big battle. The ruins up here? Things to get out of. Yeah. He can get silly sometimes. I know. Well, that's men. Kind of normal. Yes, but I don't have the button down, so it's not recording. No, that's... I want you to know this beach is gravel. Very little sand along the water edge. Okay.
This is the Royal Pavilion in Brighton, England. And as we pan around, this is the building called the Royal Pavilion. This is the entranceway, which we entered in, traveled through the gardens, located behind. This happens to be the party place for King George IV of England. Here in Brighton on the seashore by the channel. Little King George partied hard here. Had a great old time. here we have a fountain in the Central Park in the center of Brighton, England, on this bright sunny Saturday day. There's the flowers for Big Mama. She likes to see pictures of them. Flowers in the park. And the water fountain. There we are. Down the beach.
Leaves it bright.
All the English people there.
I bet that wind is really picking up in there.
Would you like to take the camera?
No, darling, no. I just said the wind.
And on the pier, out there in Brighton, on Saturday. Okay, this is a front side view of the Royal Pavilion, taken here in Brighton on Saturday, the 9th of September. Royal Pavilion, Brighton. And here we are, statue, George IV. I'm going to zoom in there and see who's with old George. Uh-huh.
No, I'm going there.
I know who she is. All right. I see who George is with. Good old George.
That'll just about finish up that.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, this is showing the chimneys, side view of the Royal Pavilion. And this should just about end this 20-minute tape. And to finish up this tape, nothing would be better than Queen Victoria on her pedestal. And here's a close-up of the lovely lady's face.
We're expecting the film.
That's okay.
Museum in Portsmouth today. Here's the entranceway going in. They have anti-aircraft guns. Nice looking little bitty tank there. Nice display. And there she comes.
It's her in it. Hello, Mom.
Yes, my camera works. My camera works. Yes. That's Gilligan. That's Julie. Julie the Glide. We're going to head down here. Kick on the bus. Gotta have flowers.
I saw that candle
Flowers. Pretty flowers. All the flowers lining along. And here we have the lawn tennis game going on. Playing lawn tennis over here. Roll the ball. Okay. Here we go. This is a flower display. All along the side. Come on now. What happened? Salisbury Cathedral, the highest spire of a church. Yes, in the world. Here's a
Looks like they're trying to clean it. Yeah, yeah.
Salisbury Cathedral. This is some of the ornate carving of Madonna and Child, along with various statues. All along here, statues. Okay. I see you flashing. Your battery is dying. I got you. Your battery is dying. Okay, I got you. It's flashing at me, honey, with the battery, with the line diagonally through it.
How many hours does that make on it?
It has 46 minutes and 23 seconds on it.
So that's not even down.
Okay, here we are looking down the street in Salisbury. And White Hart Hotel.
Oh, you look to the left. Now here are the famous rocks of the Stonehenge. Nobody really knows when or where, but here they are on top of this hill on the Salisbury Plain. And over here,
Take you back to the back
over here, we have the heel rock. The heel rock, when the sun is shining, portrays a shadow, which they may have used for time difference or something like that. The shadow cast on an altar where they did their sacrifices of either animals or young girls. Okay, here we are. We're coming up a little bit closer, and that looks like a face on the rock facing the heel stone. Looks like there is a face on there, on that heel stone. And the heel stone located right there. Back across, and there they stand.
Come up this way.
And this is the back rock. Looking through there, there's an inner circle lying down of rocks, and then the other ones, huge rocks, weighing 40 tons. How did they ever get them up there without any help? With manpower. Stonehenge, 1995. This is the Buckfast Baptist Church. You just saw the Buckfast Catholic Church. Here's the Buckfast Methodist Church.
Yeah, you need to get the front here because it's got 1881 on it.
Oh, I'm shooting it right now.
Okay.
Oh, Morty.
This is Our Lady's Chapel, Queen Taylor's house. The first stone off the building was put in place as Baptist Chapel in 1907. During statue, Our Lady was on part of it as well. And the reason for this is that it was found in a wall between here and the mill next door. The bottom half dates back to the 13th century. The monks rebuilt the statue. They got the colours for the clothing from the seal in the British Museum. And the floor here was designed by one of our monks. His name is Father Charles, and that name will come up on a few more occasions. Some of the marbles that he's used here, the brownish type one, the sense of the tiger's eye, that came from South Africa. The round this Lapislash, that came from Russia. Put a flux of lime on the wood, And you mix the paints with egg yolk, which helps it stick up there. Above the ceiling is where we ring our bells, and there are 15 of them. The heaviest weighs 7.5 tons. The clapper on it weighs a ton. The steel framework, which keeps it in place, takes the total weight of that bell up to about 12 tons.
And one of
That's one reason why I asked you to stay that side of the road. This altar was greatly liked by Napoleon Bonaparte. It was in a church in Belgium, and he liked it so much that he took it away from that church back to Paris. In the 1920s, the second abbot is buried just here. He was being taken around the Cluny Museum in Paris by Germany. And they said, well, what would you like? And he said, well, the gold portrait will look beautiful at Buckles. So they said, right, we'll get a copy made for you. It's made of gold, silver, it's enamel work, semi-precious stones. To give you some idea of the cost involved, it took 12 goldsmiths 2 years to make between 1930 and 1932.
now. You think so? That's well done like that.
Here's a panorama. There's no chapel, praying chapel.
On the side here is a map showing the distribution of the garden.
This is the Byzantine. Okay.
This is a memorial to the John Washington to the second abbot.
And look there. Still in the book, Abbey, sitting in alcove. This is a crucifix. It's the first thing you see as you enter the church. And here we are in the harbor of Plymouth.
Where do you want, Peter? Here. Sure. Oh, you, oh.
Plymouth Harbor. And Big Mama says these are the steps. Plymouth Harbor, where the Pilgrims caught their boat and sailed off to Magic Knot. All right. And here's a plaque on the seawall. Statue here in the center of St. Ives.
Yeah, yeah. No.
This is the harbor at St. Ives. The lighthouse to the harbor entrance.
This is the lighthouse mentioned in the book Virginia Woolf.
And every town's got to have a church. This is St. Ives. Okay, and last but not least, the boats in the dirt. Obviously, the tide is out. But there lie the boats. Just for your edification. That's St. Ives.
just spotted a Woolworth.
Here we are in St. Ives, and here's the St. Peter's Street Methodist Church Hall. Here's a unique function of St. Ives. You have palm trees growing here in the southwest of England. And it's the Isle of St. Michael. There's the causeway leading out to it at low tide. Yeah, I'm getting close up on that castle up there on the top of it. Castle up there of St. Michael. Causeway that you can walk out on at low tide. And the surfboard. Street going to the right. Street going up to the left. Snap! Left.
All right, man? Come in tonight.
And here we are at Glastonbury Abbey.
And we're going to duck under you.
Okay, do that. Well, this is the abbey, supposedly where King Arthur and Guinevere were buried. They were in Bath Abbey in Bath, England.
Just think everybody's back together.
Now entering, this is the entranceway.
Hanging up the ladder.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to
ladder.
Yeah, she said that she had some, you know,
Picture of the abbey is Bath. And you see the angels climbing up the towers. Some of them are falling back. Remains of the temple courtyard. Here's some stone sculptures of the gods and goddesses of the Romans. The outer wall of the Roman temple. Depiction layout of the Roman bath of the cathedral.
Picture of Big Daddy right down on level with the main bath. It's an awful greenish color.
baskets hanging here along the streets of Bath.
This is the city of Bath.
Yeah, this is the city of Bath with their main baskets. And remember to Shirley and Anna Marie.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Here we are. Here we are in Bath. No tour would be complete without a Disney shot. I can do it in Germany. I can do it here. This is an arbor in the middle of the sidewalk in Bath. Okay, there's a shot of Big Mama under the arbor in Bath. Greetings. We're on our way to Cardiff now. And here's a view up the street from the Bath. Over here, there's a flower. It's on the street. This is a view that Big Mama said I had to photograph. Various colored flowers here in this turnabout in Concord Cathedral here in Bath. Colors are really good. Okay. This is the valley. Looking down the valley in Wales on this lovely sunshiny Wednesday morning. Last final shot of the valley and heather on the hill. And here we are visiting the National Museum of Wales, Welsh Poets Museum. There's usually just one in the crowd, but here's a whole crowd of black sheep in the Welsh Museum. And here we are, the castle and gardens in the Welsh National Museum. And here we have flowers along the wall. Here's the Boxwood Gardens with the blooming flowers.
And the sculptures. Look at this one over here. Looks like it's got a mouth in it almost.
A what?
A mouth? Look at this one, see? Looks like he's got a crown up on his head and a mouth and a chin.
Oh, yeah, that the way they've
yeah, sculptured that. Yeah.
Shaped that shrubbery, yeah. It does look like a hat and a mouth and an eye. Shaping shrubbery. And here's some daisies. And of course, here's some more odd shaped shrubbery in the garden. I'm starting this picture tour of the various buildings. This is the chapel. As you can see, has a slate roof, white stone outside. Here we have the sheep in the pen in front of the white thatched hut. These are your stone houses in the barn. More houses. The greenhouse down there. Coming around to the here you have the wood pile for the fire. Here's another view of the White Hut. Here's another angle shot of the stone farmhouse. And here's a little clearer shot of the green farmhouse. Bricks with the wood pile and a stone. This stone structure is called Bedine Cottage. Next on the tour of the Welsh Museum is the Toll House. And just to the left of the Toll House is a white cottage, smoke coming out the chimney with a thatched roof. Over there is the barns. Here we have a bake house and a street going down towards it. Here we have the village green with the shops. With your tea rooms
I'm just going to buy some bread.
and tea
I'm
swamp
just going to buy
areas
some
and all.
bread.
Is the house that impressed me most of all. It's red stone. It's painted with thatched roof, 2 chimneys. This Knigston farmhouse is the red one that I so appreciate. Entryway with a little white fence around it. Garden in the back. You have herbs, flowers, and a vegetable garden in the back. No tour would be complete without a bridge end. So here's your mile marker, and date and year to the bridge end here at the Welsh Museum. Interesting. And here's what we're talking about. Fancy arena, is it not? Okay, this is a picture of the entrance to the Cardiff International Hotel. We have the entryway and the lobby. This is all the Cardiff International Hotel. Reception desk. And shops and restaurants. This is a standing aquarium in the lobby. And another one located over on the other side. I'm going to get it now. A bit larger fish in this one. Here we are at the Tintern Abbey with the ruin, no roof on it, totally white city. The White River Valley Tour in Wales. Tintern Abbey, final shot. God's air conditioning.
Yeah, open roof.
No roof at all. Gone. And here we are.
Okay, folks, now just
Stratford.
before I take you in, I just want to orientate you with regards to where everything is. First of all, it's a landmark, because if you go down to the end of the street to that building and turn right, that will take you up the High Street, past the garages, past Harvard House, past National...
This is the outside of William Shakespeare's home where he was born. Okay, this is the back garden behind the birthplace house of William Shakespeare. Over here, lots of flowers. All right. And that's the gate going out back onto the main street of Stratford-on-Avon. And now we're leaving Shakespeare's birthplace house and heading down the main street of Stratford. This is the Avon River in Stratford. These are the river canal barges. And here we have a statue of William Shakespeare. And yesterday the baby crying. And there's Big Mama sitting down there waiting on me. All right. On the Avon River in Stratford. And here we have the statue of Hamlet. With the bard in the background. Here's the statue of Lady Macbeth. Also located on the back side of the statue of Shakespeare. Witticisms of William Shakespeare. More witty sayings. And here we have the statue of Falstaff. And here we have the little prince with Shakespeare in the background.
Now that's not one I remember.
Another Shakespeare's witticism. And with this final parting shot, we leave the monument to William Shakespeare. Final parting shot of Shakespeare's house, William Shakespeare, in Stratford this day.